Hello, everyone. This is Sharonda. This is my podcast, as well as my YouTube channel, Spiritual Sense. Today is Tuesday, which is November the 15th. And in this podcast, I go over topics in regards to the paranormal, occult, supernatural. So I speak on things such as hauntings, curses, out of body experiences, soul travel, near death experiences, reincarnation, remote viewing. I discuss pagan belief systems and practices such as Wiccan, witchcraft, white magic, black magic, Scientology, Satanism, Santeria. I'd like to start off by saying that this podcast, as well as this YouTube channel, is for entertainment purposes. Again, it is for entertainment purposes. This is not a biblical nor a religious podcast, okay? So I am going to briefly go into the topic for today, which is what is the spiritual formulation of time? Like, you know, we read the biblical text and it describes Genesis and the coming about of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Gethsemane, I think that's how you say it. And or the Garden of Eden or what have you. And what exactly is the formulation of time? And so what I have on my spiritual conquest have begun to get spiritual guidance by way of my spirit guide as to what that is. So we have BC and AD. And let me pull up some information in regards to BC as defined in our understanding. BC meaning regarding in time. Before Christ, used to indicate the date, is before the Christian era. And then we have AD. AD, which I've it doesn't even pull it up, but it mentions that it's Anno Domini in the year, in the year of the Lord. Now, years ago, my understanding that it meant after death. But I'm going to give you a little bit more explanation as to what has presented to me, like what exactly that is. Okay? What has come to me spiritually as to what that is. So I have done a podcast presentation and YouTube presentation speaking on spiritual renewal. And when you're on a spiritual awakening, when you're at that point in time when you're reaching your nirvana, where you begin to take note of the simplest things in life, because that's what brings you joy. And the things that's of this existence will only bring you suffering, agony, disheartenment, disappointment. And so, as you get older in life, you begin to mature in the spirit, and you begin to see what is more relevant or what is more purposeful in life. So, as you reach your conquest on your state of nirvana, if you check out my podcast as well as my YouTube presentation, I do speak about nirvana. Okay, where you're at a place in time where certain things don't matter to you anymore. You're living, and you like on the outside looking in, kind of like looking through a window, so to speak. And that's basically what that is. So in the spiritual formation that has been revealed to me in regards to the formation of time. So as you reach your state of nirvana in your spiritual awakening conquest, or hiatus or whatever you want to refer to it as. You begin to have a life review where you reflect back on the shoulda, woulda, couldas. A nostalgia is a feeling of nostalgia. That's another word that you can use to describe it. But you begin to reflect back on. Oftentimes, you will find people, as they mentioned, midlife crisis. When a person is approaching middle age point in their life, they will begin to take on certain behaviors and thoughts and things of that nature. And that's the milestones of life. That's life as we know it. And however, in the spiritual formation of time, you will begin to see at some point in time when the trauma introduced itself into your life. When there was a moment in time led up to the trauma to put you on your path to spiritual awakening and formation, spiritual formation of time, the milestones as we will refer to that as. Okay? So you will begin to see the old self versus the new self. So that's basically looking at it on a nutshell, basically from a bigger standpoint to a more smaller standpoint. As I mentioned before, I said we all would be like a Jesus Christ. We will all be put up to be brought down. And oftentimes when the appearance though, the grass is greener, meaning everything is going hey good on the other side. You'll begin to see that they just good at acting. They good at role playing. They're good at hiding the deepest, darkest demons that they're battling. Their mishaps, their transgressions, their uh, infirmities, their blemishes, if you may, or if you will. So that's basically what's come to my synopsis or come to me as to before Christ and after. Now they call it Oni Domini. You're still deaf, but it's like a death of the spirit. In other words, it's another form of spiritual renewal. Oftentimes, when you notice that someone has suffered traumas over a course of a time frame, kind of like a timeline where niche something notable in time over the course of their life. You just do a life review, take note of their life and when it occurred at this time. Do mark at that time, mark at that time. That's when you begin to know that something is significant about this situation. This is the desires of this is somebody who's perpetuating out this curse towards this individual. So this is something to put our eyes on, to take note of what is being conveyed and what is transpiring. And so, as I mentioned, the enemy's job is to steal, kill, and destroy. You will see it in all sense of the matter. If you do, they got something to say. If you don't do, they got something to say. If you do, they got something to say. If you do, they got something to say. This how you know the job. The problem is not you, but the problem is the spirits that you are circumventing around. And once you have received that inclination, God will make it apparent to you as such. So you'll begin to see that when you are in your spirit related job field, that means when you are in a you're branded in a certain specific understanding. You're branded in a specific understanding, and their eyes will be keen to see as such. So if I'm somebody that is specific to seeing through the eyes of this way, then that's how I'm going to see it. So it takes somebody that can come in and to bring awareness to what exactly is going on. So and I mentioned that oftentimes I get visited at night in my mind's eye to speak about certain things, and it kept showing me entertainment, 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 entertainment. And if you are in someone that is in a location where there's a lot of filming for entertainment in regards to the TV, and oftentimes entertainment involves some type of realism. So when you are, uh, you begin to notice attention-seeking behaviors that partake in areas that are into movie production, where you are visual to see. You will begin to see those spirits manifest, and you begin to see behaviors are being perpetuated because this town has been deemed, or this location or area has been deemed an entertainment town. Is something notable about it. So, is this something that is spiritual? And so you begin to take note of things such as that. Getting back to the topic, the spiritual formation of time. There is a spiritual formation of time. We will all, as they mentioned, have our 15 minutes of fame. I equate that to being we will all be put on display for something that we did that was unfavorable. Again, you have to learn to forgive yourself of those things and don't continue to partake or dramatize, dramatize is what I'm getting at, or entertain that. Because the enemy, you will know when your background is continuously being pulled, because it will continuously present itself to you. And when they begin to throw those darts at you, and they get mad because you don't fall suit to what I want to fall suit to, they will come at you all different types of ways. And this is how you know how oftentimes art imitates life. A lot of these things put up, was pushed up. As I just did my tarot card reading when I mentioned about that, I felt as though the relationship was an alternative relationship. Relationship doesn't necessarily mean an actual relationship. I mean, you can have a relationship, a relation, or parallel or correlation between what you visually see on the TV and the reality. And art imitates life. That means oftentimes a lot of things has been pushed up and sensationalized to make it more entertaining when it hits the airwaves. And this is how programming occurs. This is how programming occurs to incite, infuriate, cause crime, cause anger, cause an uproar. You got to recognize that the biggest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world he and she did not exist. Oftentimes, useful tools, technology it can turn on you, and it can be a hindrance for you. So once you begin to see the formation and the formulation of how time, spiritual formulation, and how spirits operate and how spirits indulge in order to survive. I got to do this to survive. This is how I eat. Then you'll begin to see things on a higher scale of things. When you see the realism of it all, then you'll begin to understand. This is wisdom. Wisdom speaks to you. So I had a fallen angel. I had an episode that happened going on 13 years now. And a fallen angel fell down and it gave me discernment, and the eyes was able to see. I was able to see in a different existence. Let me turn some light on. I was able to see in a different sense of the matter. Things began to open up to me, and God said, "Play along with them. And when you're ready, let me know. You do have more of a choice than you will know. When you get tired of dealing with them, let me know." So I do feel as though if you ask, you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. He said, "This is why people tell lies." Because I was one of those person that I wanted to be, I was prudent, I was honest, I didn't lie. You're gonna understand why people tell lies. You're gonna understand why people deceive. You're gonna understand why people confuse and bring confusion and chaos to you. You're gonna understand it. There are more entities and more things that have transpired in this life experience as well as previous life experience than you will know. And the unseen is far more than what is being seen. The spiritual realm is no joke. I am not lying to you. I have no means to be lying to you. I'm not being sponsored once again. I work. Ain't nobody push me up to do nothing. I know what I know, 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 what I know. Of course, don't want to give power to that because we want to stay contained in these laws of physics, these laws of science. We don't want to introduce nothing that is supernatural into this existence. It exists, but you don't want to give power to it. So I can understand why people will lie and cover up and try to confuse and deceive those entities because it exists. And you would know, you know, when God is trying to convey something to you by spiritually in the logic, reasoning based, scientific society that we live in, existence that we live in. You will know. Words cannot explain it. I don't mean to make nothing up. I don't. I have no means to make anything up. That's the truth. So BC versus AD. Before is your old self versus your new self. So that's basically what BCAD means in regards to personally, on a personal scale. How you was prior to and how you are after. And the different snapshots in time, the notable times, moments in time. That's what the book of life. It mentioned to me that the book of life, in my spiritual conquest, they equate the book of life similar to the archives. Like when you have things archived at the library, moments in time that was notable, and they archived it, and they take a little remnants of history, and you will be a part of history, and that's how history came about with those from those times. And that's why people want to obliterate your history and make you seem to be uh, unstable, incompetent, because they don't want you to go down in history. There's going to be a moment in time where people will begin to look back and see, oh, a Sharonda King. You don't want unfavorable things to be written as such. But the enemy's job is to still kill and destroy. So I'm saying all this to say we only can go by snapshots in time. Now, you ask God to give you a glimpse into what those times were like. trust and believe it. As the song back in the 80s used to say, our boy George, he will take your mind on the trip if you do desire to know so. But trust and believe it, those who are not spiritually in tune will begin to think that you are induced or under some type of substance. Not on no substance. The body is a biological, mechanical, chemical makeup. You could be dehydrated and have those same behaviors. So that's basically what that is. But I did feel the need to speak on this topic today. Again, speaking about spiritual formation of time, BCAD, old self versus new self. So again, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions or a topic for a future show, you're more than welcome to comment in the comment section below. Until then, you have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.